Teri Russo, lesbian. I was born and raised on Staten Island in a Catholic family. Went to Catholic school, went to Catholic college, a former nun, served in the Navy, and came back and founded the Down Syndrome Foundation and Learning Center. And that's been my life work then. I've been out since I'm 14. My parents were told I was gay when I was 10 by the principal of our school. I had no idea what she was talking about. But 4 years later I was enlightened. And I've been out ever since. I've never hid it. Being out wasn't easy because I was always told I would never amount to anything, do any good, and just to accept it, which of course I didn't because I'm rebellious. And I just fought to do what I believed in, and didn't kowtow to the nuns or anybody else in determining how I was going to live my life. Some shied away. Some family members didn't want to talk about it. Some said we knew it all along. You know, I wasn't the most feminine girl growing up in Rosebank. I mean, if it was getting dressed up or playing a game of football, I played football. Matter of fact, I played football dressed up one Sunday, and that didn't go over very well, as I destroyed my clothes. The Navy was horrible. Of course, you don't tell the Navy that you're gay. But they had witch hunts, very active witch hunts. They had people that would actually try and trap you, you know, in the living quarters and whatnot, but you really had to be careful. And I didn't believe in the war that I was in, the Vietnam War. So on my weekends off, I'd be in San Francisco protesting the war that I was serving in. When I came back is when Stonewall happened. It seemed '69 was a year a lot of things changed. We had Stonewall. Personally, that's when I started the Down Syndrome Learning Center. At times it was scary because you didn't know what was going to happen, and if something happened to you, who was going to be there? But that didn't stop me. I lived my life the way I wanted to live it. So I started developing a program while in the Navy and testing it on related patients. And it was amazing how they could mimic you. They would imitate anything. They were happy to have somebody pay attention to them. So they had the ability to learn what weren't being taught. So that's where I developed the program. And then I came back to New York to start it, which everybody told me was a mistake. I should have done it in California, which was more progressive than New York. But I came back here for whatever reason, and the reason turned out to be Willowbrook, because I was on the committee that helped expose that people felt threatened that we were in there. Our cars were keyed, our ties were slashed, we were physically threatened, but we just kept it up. And eventually they closed. And in the meantime, I had already opened, and I gained access to buildings which were federally run by offering a community-based program. So I had total access, and one of the baby buildings, my oldest son, every time I went there, this little bald-headed, snot-nosed kitty had snot over his neck, was always crawling to get out. So I said if nothing else happened, I would get him out. So I took him out in foster care. And because some of the social workers were on our side, they wanted to see a change. So I had no problem getting certified, you know, as the foster parent and all. And then every time he went back, he got abused more. And I said I wasn't bringing him back anymore. And I filed for adoption. When I was adopting too, the judge that handled the first 3 adoptions knew I was openly gay. And he didn't have a problem with it, and I was in a relationship at the time. So my first 3 boys have hyphenated last names because you couldn't adopt as partners, which is nice to see all I can go on now, that you can openly adopt as a couple. And I built this house as a place for young men with Down syndrome to age out, and not only for mine, but for, you know, we have an open respite bed. And then for any others, yeah, we have a list of people who want to come here. So that was our goal, and we did it. I went around the country talking about adoptions, what could be done, and the important role of a parent in the life of this child. You can't leave it up to professionals only. And by doing that, that's how I got the rest of the kids. Yeah, somebody left an anonymous letter about a couple of months ago saying how she is so happy to walk past here to see that we have the pride flag and it makes her feel at home, but she didn't identify herself. And I would love to know, if she lives in this community walking around, knock on the door.
Yeah.
You know? You're welcome here.
Yeah, clearly.
We never close our doors. It's, you know, people come here to stay. People who need a break. People who are having difficulty in their relationships have stayed here. Straight or gay, we did it. So, it was fun. And we've made a lot of friends along the way.